Hey, 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 great day, everybody. I am Dr. Marrian, sister full of exponential existence, personal mastery, and business development corporation located in Arizona. And we are here today to serve you in the best way we can. Why? This is our Saturday Sat Down. What do we do for the Saturday Sat Down? We check in. Welcome, everybody that's joining us on today. Wow, can you believe this? We're in a whole new month. We're in a whole new month. We're in a whole new month. What is your August going to do for you? It's the eighth month, right, of this powerful year that we've had. Definitely to see some turbulence along the way. We've had some opportunities to grow, definitely some opportunities to grow. I think it's a day by day basis that we have to grow and become more aware and make decisions and choose some things. So, with that being said, today on the Saturday Sat Down, I want to talk about the whole idea of something that came to a conversation on yesterday. So I was talking to someone on yesterday, and I this popped into my head. People are having a hard time because we have a whole generation and a half of people that were not allowed or encouraged to use their imagination. They were encouraged to be innovative. They were encouraged to research and know things about it. But when it came to using our imagination, what could be another twist of this? How could this be improved? What would it work? How would it work on the planet Mars or Jupiter or Uranus, right? How could that happen to be able to get into that space? So we have a whole generation and a half of us that are just not used to using our imagination or entertaining ourselves or really having conversations with people that allow for growth, because for so long we've been kind of like moving, going. And one of the things I wanted to share today on the Saturday Set Down is that while it's okay for us to tap into um, the idea of what we really want, yes, that's what we want, this is what we need, right? But to look for it to come from outside of you is the challenge. And part of personal mastery is realizing that, you know, majority of the answers, 99.9% of all the answers, solutions, all of the conversations that you need to have are already existing inside of you. What happens though is that we much likely have to go and somebody stimulates us, or starts the chain reaction, and then it starts working. Okay, so you want to think about that from that perspective, right? What is it that you want and desire, and then how much of it requires you to use your imagination, right? Many of us are very quick at coming up with ideas that are usually within the lane. But I've been thinking about this whole concept of how do you go beyond that and start using our imaginations to raise us up to a new perspective. Those of us that were in business, okay, back in March, April, we started pivoting. Pivoting to me is, just means you just turn a little bit to see a different perspective or different angle. And so now we're still in this 100 and some odd days into it. And we need to start looking at what do we really see? What do we really believe? What are we going after? And how that relates back to our ultimate goal, right? Of using our imagination. How do you start back up your imagination when it's kind of rusty and needs some oil, and it needs to be utilized and even dusted off a little bit, right? So you begin by creating a space that allows you to use your imagination. When people talk about why does it seem like the wealthy have no care in the world, it's not that they don't have a care in the world, it's just that they have the time to reflect, they have the time to imagine, they have the time to think, they have the freedom to adjust their spaces, their environments, if it's not conducive for them to grow. Okay, so the first thing is just doing an awareness and an increased awareness about where you are functioning at, what's happening in your environment, what's happening in your mindset environment. And once we get into what that actually means and what that looks like for us, then once we say, okay, this environment is now conducive, now I have to be willing to dedicate the time to be uninterrupted. And I know a lot of us are in houses with large groups of people, or maybe you just don't feel like you can afford to take the time out. But if you never take the time out to process in the proper environment, so you go and escape to a new environment, but then a lot of us want to bring everything with us. And one of the things which is one of the reasons I love doing my VIPs and retreats the way that I do them, is because it takes people out of their normal element and it makes it more difficult for them to bring that into that. We all have emotional, mental baggage, of course, but to break the process of having to have your cell phone or having to check your emails or having to do this over the prioritization of you becoming more succinct and more clear on who you are and what you are, right? So once we get that environment straight, then we make a decision that we're going to cut everything off and not be distracted. And we're going to actually allow ourselves the freedom and the liberty to have quiet time to think about what ideas will come into our mind. If we can think about blowing up one balloon, could we blow up 1,000 balloons? And could those balloons be of multiple, colors and sizes and shapes? And could we tie them all together and maybe figure out how to find a new way by which to travel, or another way by which we could, get someone's attention? The imagination is such a powerful tool, and they talk about this throughout mindset, like the power to imagine the possibility of something other than what you see, right? Other than what you see. How can we go past this? How can we go past this ideology that this is how it is, it's what's going to be? Yeah, this is what it is right now, this moment, but can you imagine what's going to happen once you get out of this moment? Can you begin to feel and see and understand with all of your goodness that you bring forth that which you desire? And that requires you to trust and believe that the environment you in has to be conducive, and then you have to separate yourself so you can benefit from that environment that's being created. And then you begin the process of thinking, of seeing, of thinking, visualizing, talking it out, feeling the emotion of it, recognizing the smells. Majority of us, all of us, walk through here based upon our senses. But when you get into a state of knowing, the five senses is only a precursor to what the real information is from your thoughts and your exchanges. So imagination, it will take you places. It will allow you to see from a different perspective without the fear of judgment, without hearing doubt, without being tossed over and distracted and selling out on your own personal vision of mastery and financial assurance and rewarding and reciprocating relationships on all levels of your life, physical wellness, emotional, mental wellness, your business doing well, your career doing well. So when you're using your imagination, those three foundational steps have to be in place. And it's not about so much. People say, well, I don't have time to escape. This is reality. Well, you create your realities based upon your thoughts and your beliefs. If you want something different, you have to make a decision to make it possible and doable. Absolutely, positively, so it is. So using our imaginations to manifest that which we want. Your environment says you got to create it. Find yourself a space that is solely for you. And don't get it twisted. It doesn't have to be a whole hour. Maybe initially all you can presently invest as far as time is maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And I want to say 5 to 10 minutes. It really should be 30 to an hour, but let's do 5 to 10 minutes to begin. We got to start somewhere, and finding a space that you can call your own space to begin to use your imagination to ignite a part of you that extends beyond your current circumstances. And someone said to me, well, I'm doing well during this COVID time. That's awesome, but could you be doing even better? Your imagination will not allow you to be comfortable for reaching level 4, right? It wants you to get to level 14 and 40 and so on and so on. So our imagination is that line, that line I envision, a fishing line, right? When you're reeling it in. So we're reeling you in closer into that. So your imagination, along with your thought processes, what you believe, what you say, what you begin to practice in action, in speech, all of those things are raising up the vibration, the frequency that is around you. So if it's coming on around you internally, again, you have everything you need inside of you. This conversation may serve as a spark of one more drop of fuel but to use our imagination to truly escape, explore, seize, and communicate all possibilities to excel. None of us want to be sitting, together and not growing and expanding. If you bought a plant and never grew, you would be highly disappointed. That's how you should feel about yourself. So on this Saturday Set Down, my encouragement for you today is to activate your imagination for the innovation and ingenuity that you've been waiting for. Don't allow yourself to get distracted by the emotions that are keeping you in doubt and uncertainty. Because here's the reality. You are no longer in uncertainty because you understand that things are different. So you've adjusted for that. You may not have been aware of how long that the adjustment would have to stay in place. But go back and look and see what's been working for you. What are you missing? Have the hard conversations, right? Plan them out. Think about what it is you want to say, how you want to address people, and know that everything is going to be well because you are well and your intentions are well. So the uncertainty that we felt before, the doubts that we were allowing to creep back into our minds, we can release them because we can now focus on creating spaces within a space that are totally ours. And it may mean that you have to get up 5 minutes earlier to do it, or 10 minutes earlier, or stay up 5 minutes later, or 10 minutes later to get it done. But it is your responsibility to you to grow and expand. It is up to you to ignite a higher part of who you are. It is up to you to demonstrate the greatest parts, the infinite expansion ability of you here with your contribution. This has been the Saturday Set Down. I am Marrian, sister full of exponential existence, and this has been the Saturday Set Down. We are here every Saturday to lighten up your afternoon and bring you both a little bit more of incitement and guidance on how you can begin to have an exponential existence. Until next time, peace and life you are.